Hey all, Al here. Yes, I'm back in 2020 Flight Sim. After the video I done with 2024 and the Pimax Light that I bought, decided to jump back into 2020 and see was there any improvements since the last time I flew in VR here in a G2. So we're sitting on the end of 35 left at Moorabbin, Melbourne. My favorite helicopter, of course, the UE. Getting 45 to 50 FPS. I'll show you what my settings are. So we have a baseline. Went to general. Graphics. I've set everything to 1920 by 1080. I've reduced it down. I was running at 1440 in 2024. Decided that the 3080 is not going to be able to run the Pimax at 1440. So I've downgraded it to 2090, 1920 by 1080. Get it right. And these are all the standard settings I have for the sim. Nothing crazy high. So you can pause it if you want and look at all the settings. For VR, I can get the graphics for VR. See, they're here, aren't they? Down the bottom. PC, sorry, VR. I'm losing with 2020. So these are the settings for VR I've set. Again, nothing massive crazy. That's just the benchmark. So we'll go back and back into the sim. We'll do a quick flight with the GPU, whatever you call it, up on the right hand side. We'll do a quick flight up the runway around Moorabbin and back down again. We're getting a pretty solid 40 FPS I think here. Some of you will probably laugh at that. Anyone that's got a 4090 will laugh at that and go, what the hell, man, you're only getting 40. But for me, it's more about the smoothness of the sim rather than the FPS. But somebody asked about FPS in the headset, so just thought I'd do this. We'll do a quick left here, up over DFO, back down the airport and back on to 35 left. The will compared with the Pimax, and I put that on. See what FPS are we getting with that. You can see it's smooth, no stutters. Pretty much constant high 40s, 50 FPS. Not so surprised because it's at 1080. It'll be interesting to see when we put on the headset what it drops to and how it feels to fly around. We'll come back in here onto 35 left. Try and get this down without crashing. Bring it down here. Not going to be smooth, it's going to be rough. Ooh, we're coming in. Okay. Ooh, that's, yeah. And I'm hitting the toe brakes in the helicopter. Okay, so that was... Now we'll jump in and into VR and see. Okay, so getting solid mid 40s, 50s, high 40s maybe FPS, and 80 in the sim with all the settings. What we'll do now is we'll take flight in Pimax Crystal Light in 2020 and how much FPS. Of course, OBS is gonna do a bit of a hit on the FPS. Flying without OBS, you'll gain a few more FPS. Unfortunately, there's no way to record it unless I record it off a camera or something. Let's actually try it. Let's jump into. Oh, you can see there's a bit of yeah, a bit of a hit. That's good. Okay, jumping around. How we get more FPS? That makes no sense. I went to 60. It's not the best. Sort of shrunk down because I'm trying to get the FPS counter into it. For some reason it's doing on the left eye rather than the right eye. Anyways, let's jump in and do the flight around again and see, do we drop? Craziness, man, it's gone up to 60 FPS. How come we running 60 FPS? How can we running better in the VR? Maybe it's because the settings I have in the VR. Okay. Now, put my headset down here. Let's get rid of that. Rid of Flow Pro. Okay. Straight away, I am. Oh my god. That's all I can say. Compared to me sitting in 2024, I the clarity. I was not gonna BS people. I have a 3080. I don't have a 4090. I don't have the 50 series. I've got a bog standard 3080, 10 gigabytes I think of memory on it. So I was always knew I was going to be pushing it for Pimax Light. When I jumped into 2024, I think I knew, well, yeah, this is pushing the Pimax Light and trying to, of course, record on OBS on the same machine at the same time as pushing everything to the max. After watching a couple of the simmers, professional simmers, and they have gone back to 2020, I said, okay, I'll jump into 2020 and see. Somebody asked on the video, on the other video I done, what the FPS is like. You can see the FPS on it now. I can't see it at the minute. I'm sure before I put the headset down I was up at 60. I don't know why I was up at 60 FPS. Again, FPS, we're always chasing FPS, trying to get the best FPS, but for me it's the smoothness of the sim, and definitely in VR, smoothness trumps FPS all the time. Because if you're moving your head, even if you've got 60 FPS, 70 FPS, if the smoothness of the sim isn't right, it doesn't matter how much FPS you have. But sitting here in this helicopter in 2020, settings, you can see them, I've done them at the beginning of the video, they're not set high. I'm not joking yet. Hopefully it shows up on the screen. Probably won't show up as crisp it is. Oh my god, it's like, it is clearer than 2024. I can see every single dial. I can read the little compass settings there. 359 and the 09. I can read all of that. I can turn my head. I don't want to turn it too quick. I can see everything. I can see absolutely every single thing clear as day. There's nothing I can't see. There's nothing I can't read. Fuel gauge test. Caution, cargo hook must have flexible loop. I don't know how, let's bring up the little chart here. I can read that perfectly. In 2024, the settings that I had, I couldn't read that. It was all blurry and everything. I can read that perfect. I'm not gonna mess with anything on that, but down there I can see all the operation limits. I don't think we have one over here. If probably my advice, people that say I was crazy getting a Pimax Light, only having a 3080 RTX. Yeah, you're probably right. A lot of people advised you should have got a bigger card, up 40 series, 50 series. I went probably the wrong way and bought the headset first of all. I didn't have the money to get the headset and upgrade to a 40 or 50 series, maybe the end of the year, next year. What I would advise is, or what I would say is that if you're in the same boat as me and you've got a 3080 is possibly the lowest you should be running for VR Crystal Light, but if you're like me and you've got a 3080 Intel i13 series i7, the place to be for VR right now is 2020. I haven't even taken off yet. I'm sitting here and I am blown away. I'm seeing what a lot of the other simmers were talking about. The guys with the high-end 4090s, like Two-Tone Murphy. I'm seeing what he's talking about. The gauges, the cockpit is, pardon the pun, crystal clear. It is crystal clear. There is no stutters in it. Looking outside, okay, I'm not getting the top quality they're getting, but I am getting just as good a quality out looking outside than using my monitor. Maybe because what I did in the first video is I was trying to run it on 1440 monitor. I've switched everything down to 1080 high definition, so I've switched the monitor and everything. I don't know whether that makes any difference on the GPU or anything, but switched it all down, and I am now getting what they were talking about in their videos. I'm getting the clarity in the cockpit. I can see the chip detection alerts, the oil alerts. I can see all the buttons and everything on it. Okay, so enough of me blabbing on. Let's do a bit of a flight around here, the same as we've done with the monitor. So, as we go sideways up the runway, I can see the signs A6. I can see everything. Not sure what the FPS is at the minute. I can see, I can't really see it, what the FPS is. So we'll head up here. No stutters, I can tell you, absolutely no stutters at all. Smooth as, and looking out, I can see everything outside perfect. For right now, I'm going to be sticking in 2020 with flying VR. As we come up over DFO here. This is brilliant. This is absolutely butter smooth. This is what I hoped for when I bought this Crystal Light. And this is in 2020. So I think it is that 2020 is optimized, has been optimized over the last 4 years. It's been optimized, improved on so much. Even going outside, like, it looks beautiful. I'll try and come in over Lower Dandenong Road. I got the name right, I think I have it right, I should have. Now we'll bring it in here over 35 left again. This is absolutely beautiful. What we'll do is we'll try and land over here on the helipad. And I've seen a couple of helicopter pilots and they're using the lower window. We're coming in pretty hot here. We may have to bleed off some speed. Not the best approach into the helipad, but we're coming down. This makes flying helicopters so easy. This and the collective, and we can come in here and dust off. This makes flying so easy. It absolutely, I am speechless. I can now see what they're talking about, how good the Crystal Light is with a 3080. Again, possibly the lowest card. You wouldn't want to go much lower. I have a 3060. I may try testing that and see, but there is no stutters. The view outside, I can see everything clear as day outside. Again, the gauges, I can see all the gauges. I can see all the writing. You can see I have lights on, I think. Yep. I can see the little manual over there, HU1H. This is VR, the way it should be flown with a Crystal Light in Microsoft 2020. Absolutely brilliant. Anybody sitting on the fence thinking, should I wait and get a 50 series card? If you're not in a mad rush for VR, maybe, but if you have the money for the Crystal Light right now, it's going to work in 2020 with the 3080. Got a 3090, you're going to have no problems at all. But the 3080 is going to work and it's going to look good. Really good. Really smooth. Viable. Unlike 2024 at the minute, it's a bit of a stutter fest. It's a bit of a, even with the low, I've got this Crystal Light on the lowest settings. I may try putting it up to medium and see can I run it in 2020 on a medium, see is that even better. But for now, let's jump out here. That was absolutely brilliant. Absolutely. I've watched so many streamers over the last couple of weeks, and Two-Tone Murphy, I watched him in his 4090 with his helicopter flying around in, I think it was 2024. I think I was getting the same sort of detail and smooth operation of VR in 2020 with a 3080 as he's getting in 2024 with a 4090. So yes, I knew this was going to happen. I knew that the 3080 was going to have a hard time trying to operate the Crystal Light. Always knew it was never going to operate it at maximum. Not a chance in the world. Because it's not built for a 3080. It's built for 40, 50 series, 60 series and onwards. That's what it's built for. As I got a couple of comments saying, oh, I should have bought a 40 series instead of buying the VR. Yeah, I wanted the VR again. I missed it from the G2 that broke. So I took a gamble. I seen a couple of videos before I bought it about 3080, was able to run it. Got a bit disappointed when I went into 2024 to try and use it at the lowest setting that I could. It was a bit, how would I say, it didn't look good. I thought, oh crap, I've gone and paid this much for it and it looks crap. I'm gonna have to wait until I get a 40 or 50 series. But jumping in here into 2020 after I watched a couple of simmers that they're gone back to 2020 for VR, still on the lowest settings. I'm not gonna get the brilliant quality they're getting in their 40 series, but it's still brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. What you're seeing on the screen now is what I'm seeing in VR. It's there's no way to show really. You're getting clear, absolutely clear, like I'm seeing on the screen, only in VR. I'm getting, and it's as smooth as that. Now, whether I'll look back, whether the FPS is agreeing or not, maybe it drops down to a crap FPS, I'll see, but it was smooth. No stutters, no lack of quality, just totally brilliant. As I said, I just done this because somebody asked what the FPS was when I was flying around. I didn't do it in 2024. I'm sure the FPS was probably, it was worse. I think a couple of times it hung, a few times it dropped to 2 FPS. Don't think 2024 is VR ready yet. Maybe in the next couple of months or years as it goes on, it might. But for now, I think a lot of my, or most of my VR flying will be in 2020. Just because it's so good. So again, hopefully that's helped a few people out there. That's why I do these videos. I'm not running the highest CPUs, the highest GPUs. I'm running normal, everyday setup that the most people have. If you have any questions or any comments, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. And we will chat to you later in VR in 2020. Okay, bye.